I just go like, I pretty quickly, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the person. Like, that's the guy. Get that guy. Or like, I see a casting tape and I'm like, yeah, that's right. And I feel like my gut is probably the best. And I know that's stupid. Like, oh, my gut instincts are like, anyway, I know, but it's not really very helpful for anyone else. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, the casting in this movie, just I think across the board, these guys have done, obviously, even just we forget that, like, at the time that that we put the movie together, pretty much, these guys, like, Ezra, I just was like, Ezra's cool. I just want Ezra to be the Flash. It's like that was kind of how I did it. Like Gal, I was like, oh, Gal, we tested a bunch of different actresses, and Gal was just, and from the beginning, I was like, I want Gal. And they were like, okay, well, we should do, we need to see a bunch of people because, it's like a big part is Wonder Woman. And she's not like super big star or anything. And I was like, okay, well, I just feel like it's right. And then we tested her with Ben. They did a little scene. And I was like, see, actually, what's cool is I looked at it the other day. There's like in the little video that we did in the little audition. I don't know if you remember this, but Ben, like at the end of the take, it was a one shot too. It was like over him. It was like we did it because whenever you do because it was before the film was made, and you don't want to expose yourself to the studio too much, right? And you don't want him to say like, oh, is this what it's going to look like? Like, I don't like this. And I'm like, it's not about that. We're just trying to do an audition. It's like any chance for them to not comment on anything but the thing you want them to comment on. You try to do that. So I was like, okay, we'll do this as one take, even though it's like starts out as a two shot. And it was in the little scene, it's like Gal's Wonder Woman is waiting for Bruce Wayne, and he's walking down a street. We shot it all on like a sort of fake set. It didn't look like a street, but it was like there's some cars parked around and whatever. And then he would walk up, and it was a two shot, and then it was a tight two, and then it turned into an over. And it was just sort of a single on Gal. And they were kind of talking about like, you got to stop drinking and all this like really intense stuff. And like, what's the matter with you, Bruce? And blah, blah, blah. She was really going at him. And at the end of the take, and the one good one, cause it's on over Ben's shoulder like this, and Gal was here. And at the end of the take, he turns around and looks in the camera. He's like, okay. Like, I don't think we have to do this anymore. And it was cool because, like, that's and of course, the reaction was so clean that, like, I left it in for the studio. So they were like, oh.
As an unwitting accomplice.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that's the only time that's ever happened to me where I was like, that's obvious.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? Yeah.
There's nothing else
Can I go home now?
I've done that with a bunch of
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was really cool. But, like, and I think that those things, I guess for me, it's like there is, and it's impossible to say. I mean, it was just like, when we were talking about Christina Wren during Man of Steel. I was like literally watching TV. I saw this hummus commercial. I'm like, that girl, I want that girl in the movie. So we had to track her down and like find her. But I think that I don't know. It seems I don't know how, but it just
an instinct. I mean, I think that what Zach's like maybe humble to say is that there's it's taste, right? Like, but those have told me about directing, and I always heard before I directed, there's like not the adage is directing is 90% casting, and I was skeptical of that, and as years have gone by, I've become more and more convinced of it. And it is as you look at all these actors who Zach casts and how good they are and what they've gone on to do, it's a testament to Zach's taste, and his taste is very, as he says, intuitive. I don't know if you can learn it or teach it. He has a feeling. It's sort of what being like a filmmaker with a point of view is. As soon as he sees that thing, it bounces off him. It's very wonderful to work with somebody who's not clouded by a bunch of other thoughts or opinions or what are people going to say or what are they going to do or what are they going to say, or how many followers of that, whatever it is, immediately. And that's, he knows, and he has an opinion and a strong one, and that's kind of what you want as an actor, very much. Whether it's good or bad, like, are we doing this or are we doing that? You want me for the movie or you don't? You know what I mean? Both are fine. I just want to know. Let's not do 15 auditions, you know what I mean, and do a whole circus. And that's one of the beautiful things about Zach and his process is that he is works by instinct and decisive and absolutely self-assured of that. And it's a very calming thing to have in a director. Okay, he knows where we're going, so I'm going to follow him.